What is going on YouTube? It's your boy Spanko, and today I'm back with a Trickstar post ban list deck profile. Now, as we all know, this deck did get hit. Light Stage went to 1. Obviously, I think it's for the consistency issues or the consistency of Orchest. And then Terraforming also went to 1 because Konami for some reason thought that banning Mystic Mine was wrong, and they wanted to hit Terraforming down to 1, which I think is absolutely like stupid. I don't agree with that whatsoever. Obviously with the new hits, this deck is a little bit weaker, but I made this to optimize playing this deck still so that everyone can, like, I enjoyed playing this deck. I played it when it was like meta, I guess you could say, and I very much enjoyed this deck, so I'm kind of sad to see it go, but I don't think it's necessarily gone, so this version of the deck should be competitively viable. Now, if you guys enjoyed these videos, these post ban list deck profiles, I've been pretty much posting like daily content on these. If you guys are enjoying these, please like this video and subscribe to the channel, and you know, you can check out all the other profiles. So far I have done True Draco, I've done Salamander, I've done 2 Salamander profiles. This is going to be my 3rd one, I think. And then I have so much more. I have Altergeist. And guys, don't worry. I get this comment all the time. I think on my Salamander and my Draco video, the entire comment section was ABC, ABC Orchest, ABC, ABC Orchest. I promise. I have a list for that. I promise. It's coming to you guys soon. So you guys will see that soon. And yeah, without further ado, let's get right into this deck profile. So I am, of course, playing Triple Candina, still the heart and soul of the deck. Like, you cannot play this deck without Triple Candina. Best normal summon. Actually, it's your only normal summon in the deck, so it's the best card. Searches anything, obviously, in the archetype. Triple Licorice. This one I should explain a little bit more. I know some people decided to cut it to 2, but I think with Light Stage now only at 1, you have to play 3 because you really want to draw into this card now. Whereas before, I know some people cut it to 2 only because it's always accessible, whereas now it's a little bit less accessible, so that's why I like to play the triple. Double Corobane. I did want to up Corobane to 3. I'm not gonna lie, because with the Light Stage hit, I'm like, okay, we need some more consistency, some more defensive cards. This obviously acts as a hand trap. It's also a free special summon if you need it to be. So Corobane, I wanted to up to 3, but then every time I upped it to 3, I would see multiple in some hands, and it was just kind of bricky. So I did not like playing it at 3. I decided to just cut the one out and not even replace it with another monster. But so, because like this deck is a really stun heavy focus deck, and it needs to be now in my opinion. So I just cut this out and then played a spicy trap that I'm going to show you guys later, but it's my like tech of the format, you could say. Like, it's one of my favorite cards. 1 Lilybell. I don't think you should change this ratio. 1 Lilybell is always the 1 Lilybell. Triple Droll and Lockweird. This card might as well have Trickstar in the name, because honestly, you cannot play Trickstar without Droll and Lockweird. This card is insanely good. Obviously, the Droll Reincarnation combo is still one of the strongest combos in the game today. So you have to play triple Droll and Lockweird, and they're pretty easy to get now. I think the commons are only like $4 or $5 or something. So easy card to obtain. I know before it was a little bit harder when this deck was like meta relevant. These were actually really expensive. I remember I think the ultras were like 25s a piece or something. Anyways, Triple Ash, these are the only hand traps you play. I mean, I guess technically you play Imperm, and I'll show you guys that later. But Triple Ash, essentially, like I said, I am playing Triple Imperm as well. I'll show it to you guys later. But a budget alternative for Imperm, I'll just say it now, is Effect Veiler. So honestly, if you don't have the Imperm or you don't have the money for Imperms, that's totally fine. Play Effect Veilers instead. Does not really change anything at all. And then for the last monster, you are playing 1 Artifact Scythe, because like I said, this is a stun deck. You need to be able to stun your opponent now. So your Artifact engine is very important. There's 2 Sanctum. I play 2 Sanctum and Scythe. I'll show you guys that later. I'm getting way too ahead of myself this video. Yeah, 1 Scythe, you need it. If you should shut your opponent down turn 1, you can essentially build enough advantage where I think you'll have control of the game at that point. So Artifact Scythe, insanely good card. And that's it for the monster count. Now for the spells, 1 Light Stage. Unfortunately, Light Stage went to 1. I was so sad. When I saw Light Stage, I'm like, yo, what are these guys doing? I get they wanted to hit the Orchest, and I guess this is somewhat consistency for Orchest, but a lot of people stopped playing this engine, or even if they were playing the engine, it wasn't the issue, right? It's like the dangers were there. You can play the Dark Warrior. I played the Warrior version of Orchest. I didn't even play the Light Stage package. Like, you didn't need it. So that's why, like, when I saw the Light Stage hit to 1, I was kind of surprised, in my opinion. Terraforming to 1, I was also very surprised. The reason I was surprised at Terraforming to 1 is because, I said this before, for some reason Konami thinks that hitting Mystic Mine shouldn't happen. So they think, let's hit Metaverse and Terraforming. And I think that's completely wrong. Mystic Mine is still in this game. So if I draw into Mystic Mine, I'm not playing it in this deck. But if I draw into Mystic Mine, you can't play. Like, any card that says you can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Should not be in the game. Like, at that point, you might as well put Maxi back to 3. And I personally think you should put Maxi back to 3, but that's just me. But Mystic Mine should not be in this game. Very not interactive card, not good for the game. Again, that's me just ranting. Triple Pot of Extravagance. I only have 2 guys. I'm sorry for proxying the 3rd one. I only have 2. So, yeah. But you need to play 3. Honestly, if you want to play this deck competitively, you need to play 3. Because it's just a draw 2. And one thing that this deck had problems with, I remember when it was like meta and it was very good, was that it didn't have a solid draw card. Everything was just searching based, and so it was it lost to a lot of like hand traps and stuff. But with Extravagance, at least it gives you an option to draw. Draw 2 is obviously insanely good, like literally pot of greed for this deck, because you don't need your extra deck so much. I'll show you guys the extra deck later. Insanely good card. I know it's an expensive card, so if you guys do want a budget option, I should tell you guys, I think the best option is to play something like Desires. If you really want, you can play like a Duality, because funny enough, I've tested Duality in this deck and it's not horrible. It's just the only problem with Duality is it doesn't give you the Trickstar Candina bounce for Licorice. So if they Veiler your Candina, you can't bounce for Licorice that turn. That's the only thing you have to kind of play around. But otherwise, like, Duality is not the worst in this deck, but I don't think it's like necessarily like you should be playing it. But if you guys can get your handle on Extravagance, insanely good card. I would definitely recommend playing 3 of this card. And then triple Instant Fusion. Your extra deck is essentially mainly just Instant Fusion targets. So this is kind of, actually, if you guys saw a while ago, I think it was a regional, I want to say it was Ryan Yu, shout out Ryan Yu, I think it was him, who played Trickstar and played this like rank 5 variant where it was basically the same kind of close to, I don't want to say close to my build, but close to, like, you know, you play the Scythe, you play the Coral Banes, and then you play the Instant Fusions for level 5s, and then you can make rank 5s in this. So that's why I kind of took that, like, that kind of inspired this Instant Fusion, and I'll show you guys the extra deck, and it'll make more sense when you guys see the extra deck. But that inspired this, so shout out Ryan Yu for that idea, but that inspired this. And that's it for the spell count, honestly. You're playing very little spells, honestly, only because you can't really play the light stages anymore. Can't play terraformings anymore, so it kind of sucks. Triple Extravagance, like I said, because you need to have some kind of draw power in this deck. It loses because this deck needs to kind of steamroll and it needs to get going early, so that's why Extravagance is very, very important. So going off to our trap cards, I am playing triple Trickstar Reincarnation. I don't think this needs explanation. Like, this is the best card in the deck. Triple Solemn Judgment. The funny thing is, Solemn Judgment back at 3 actually kind of, even though this deck got hit, Solemn Judgment back at 3 is actually really good for this deck. Just being able to stop any power cards that your opponent has, being able to stop your back row from getting Twin Twisted, because obviously, like, you guys are playing a lot of back row. Any cards that would give your opponent a lot of advantage, stopping it with Judgment, insanely good in this deck. The only concern with Solemn Judgment is the fact that, you know, going into time, it kind of sucks, it kills your life points, but honestly, this deck burns your opponent so much that time is never really an issue. And honestly, if you just Judgment and like hit one of your opponent's power plays, you can just straight out win the duel from there. So Judgment, insanely good card. Triple Infinite Impermanence. Like I said, Imperm is like replaceable by Effect Veiler. If you guys can't get your hands on Imperm, that's not an issue whatsoever. Easily replaceable by Effect Veiler. The only reason Infinite Impermanence is really good, and I'll show you guys this in a second, you are playing also double Artifact Sanctum and triple Trap Trick. Again, sorry guys, I only have double Trap Trick, so like I literally only have 2s of cards. I need to just pick up a playset. But the reason I like to play Imperm over Effect Veiler is because Trap Trick can at least search Infinite Impermanence, right? So that's why I like to play the Trap Trick. I think it's necessary because you can search 1, 2, 3 traps, and you can also search, remember when I said I had a secret tech? The double Torrential Tribute. I'm playing Torrential Tribute in the main deck right now. Oh my god, this card is insane. In testing, this card is so good, and obviously you can Trap Trick to search your Torrential Tribute. Insanely good. When I say insanely good, I mean like this is an insanely good card. So the reason it's so good is because this deck doesn't produce super large boards, right? A lot of the time you're just gonna have like a Licorice or like a Candina plus like 4 set. Having like 4 set plus your Torrential, or 3 set plus like Torrential, insanely good. It'll stop your opponent's combos. It's better than, for example, I know some of my friends wanted to test out Floodgate Trap Hole, because if you Floodgate your opponent's monsters, they can't go into like the Guard Dragon plays, whatever. But then I was kind of like, that's cool and all, like that's great, but it's like kind of situational. Whereas Torrential is essentially always live. Like even later in the game, Torrential is always live. It's even really good going second, because being able to set it on your opponent's turn, if they decide to do anything, boom, Torrential Tribute. Insanely good card. It forces out a negate sometimes if they have negates. I really like this card. I think it's one of the better trap cards in this format, just like as a super cool tech, one of my techs for the format. So going off into the extra deck, you are playing triple Thousand Eye Restrict. Funny enough, when you look at this, it looks like it's GOAT format, right? Triple Thousand Eyes, again, you're playing Extravagance, so you're going to banish a lot of these cards, which is why you're just playing basically 3-0s of everything in your extra deck. Triple Panzer Dragon. Oh my god, you guys are gonna absolutely hate me. I couldn't find a 3rd Panzer Dragon. I swear I have these cards, man. I don't know why I can't find I have 2 of everything apparently. But yeah, Triple Panzer Dragon. Again, level 5 light makes you a really spicy card that I'm about to show you guys next, which is Consider Pleiades. You play 3 Pleiades, Because funny enough, if you scythe on your opponent's turn, right, and you have a scythe, like what is that scythe really going to do for you after that, right? It's not going to do much. So what's nice is this, with the instant fusion, you can make the Pleiades with your scythe because it's a light and it's a level 5. Funny enough, you can also do it with a Corbane. So this is a really good card, just kind of a defensive card that you can sit on. It just gives you another option. This is the one-of that I play, the one artifact Durandal, and this is actually really good because in the times where you do open your scythe, you want to have your Durandal so that you can basically pop your scythe on your opponent's turn and you can force your opponent to pop your scythe, which essentially makes this card like kind of like a negate, because it's not necessarily a gate, but it'll change the effect, which will negate the actual original effect, if that makes sense to you guys. Also, funny enough, the other effect is you can detach a material and then each player shuffles their hand into their deck and then draws the equal number of cards. With Droll and Lockbird, this is insanely good. Like, this is another way to do the Droll reincarnation combo. So that's insanely good. Because if you only open one reincarnation, for example, right, you can make Durandal, force your opponent to shuffle, reincarnation, and then Droll. Like, that's insanely good. So Durandal, just another option. Insanely good card. Double Linkuriboh. I wanted to play 3, but only double. Like, you're not going to make 3,000 eyes in a game. Double Linkuriboh, just for the 1,000 eyes. 1,000 eyes steal, you make Linkuriboh, insanely good. 1 Nightmare Phoenix and 1 Nightmare Unicorn. And then lastly, 1 Boral Sword Dragon. And the only reason you play the Boral Sword is just like, if you need it, it's just one. You're probably going to banish it, honestly, with Extravagance. But if you don't, you can just go into it just to steal games here and there. So it's an insanely good card, obviously, in the extra deck. But mostly the important ones are the Pleiades, 1,000 eyes, and the Panzers. Which is why you're playing 3 of those ones. And these ones are all like relevant, but not the most important. And so lastly, for the side deck, you are playing triple Vanity Fiends. Shout out Ryan Yu again. He gave me this idea. I got this idea from him. Insanely good card. It's actually very easy to summon. With Instant Fusion, this card, it's like all you have to do is open Instant Fusion in this. And you always side this thing going first, by the way. And you'll just, you know, Instant Fusion, normal summon this, and boom. Your opponent can't really out it. I think the only out to this card is like an Imperm. But even then, it's like, that's the only card that can out it. But then imagine opening something like a Judgment as well. Boom. Like, your opponent's not playing Yu-Gi-Oh! This card, insanely good Vanity Fiend in this deck. Triple Artifact Lancia. I wanted to cut it to 2. And, like, the thing is with these side decks, guys, that I've been showing you is, like, the format hasn't solidified itself yet. So these side deck cards are mostly for what I think is going to be pretty good. Obviously, I think Thunder Dragon, Guard Dragon is still probably the best deck, I guess you could say, because everything else got hit. I don't think Orcus is dead. Orcus is still going to be very much played, so Lancia is obviously good against them. So in general, like, I still think Lancia is one of the better side deck cards in the format. You can maybe cut it to 2, but I like playing it at 3 right now. Double Gamma Seal, just because it helps you clear your opponent's board. Gamma Seal just helps you get over a negate, gets over a big body, easy to summon. Double Dino Wrestler Prank Chops, obviously going second. This card is insanely good. I don't want to play 3. I've strayed away from playing 3 so much now, because when I used to play 3, you used to see multiples and it absolutely sucks. So double Prank Chops, I think, is a perfect ratio. I am playing double Typhoon just for going second against something like Pendulum. It's actually really good. If they set up their scales, you can just Typhoon your opponent. Like, if they set up a Servant of Endymion plus like another scale and they get their like Endymion counters or whatever, you can just pop the Servant. It just becomes really good because it's kind of an unexpected like hand trap in a sense. So that's why I really like Typhoon going second. And then for going first, triple Heavy Storm Duster. It just removes your back row. It also helps you when you're like siding it. If you do end up going first, right, and you open your scythe, you can at least pop your scythe and then pop a card on their side of the field. So then at least you get the scythe effect off. That's why Heavy Storm Duster is kind of cool in that sense, where it can give you like these like niche plays where it's like, oh, if I open scythe, you know, scythe is a brick, but it's like, oh, wait a second, I can set my scythe and then duster my own scythe. So it's a pretty good card in that sense. So that's it for the side deck, essentially. Obviously, it can be changed. The format has just started. We don't know essentially what's good and what's not good and whatever. But this is what I think is a really good, especially for this deck. Like, these cards are really good in this deck specifically. Something like Vanity Fiend, Typhoon, and Heavy Storm Duster. But obviously, as the format starts to solidify itself, we can change the side deck up. And it's always up to personal preference. Alright, so guys, that's it for this deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. I considered playing the Sky Striker engine in this. I decided not to, just because I wanted to play more traps, and honestly, I don't think the Sky Striker engine does that much for you. That's why I didn't want to play the Sky Striker engine. Obviously, if you guys think the Sky Striker engine is better, if you guys have any suggestions, let me know in the comment section below. Again, if you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel. And with that, guys, Banco signing out.
My hands steady, I feel ready, but my legs heavy, I don't get it. How come I haven't hit it already? Still working, I'm still learning, I'm still searching, finally earning something, finally turning something called a profit. If I hear you talking shit, don't get caught in it. I'll be popping off and hit your ass, dropping all your shit. Yeah, I promise this, I got promises, you ain't stopping this, cross my shit.